Hello, this is Melody Yesterday, otherwise known as Downtown Cowtown. I want to talk a little bit about what everybody seems to be talking about these days is corruption. I started noticing corruption as far back as 1986. My first son died. I realized he was sick by looking at him. I could tell he was sick. And when I told the doctors this and others, they laughed in my face, saying that I was crazy, hysterical, and of course we had to bury him. Well, then the second son came along, and DFS, or CPS as some know it, were right on our tail. Put him on a monitor. He actually died one time, and my spouse was in the hospital with a heart attack. My mother and father, who at the time I was real close to, were out of town at a convention, and my uncle had just gotten placed in the hospital too. But I was on the chlorpromazine, and everyone knows how strong that is for depression. For some reason, I know it was the grace of God, I was able to hear the monitor go off after I took my meds that night and pulled myself up out of it and went to my son's room where he was already blue. The reason it was so hard was because I kept telling myself, get up, get up, get up. So it's kind of memorable for me. DFS kept on us and on us and on us. We had a report on us one day after we got home from church. It was a spring day, and my son had little shorts on, and DFS came, and I called Bradley in from the other room to show him to the caseworker, saying, now, if we had dragged him up concrete steps, don't you think we would have left a mark? Of course we would have. And she kind of nodded in agreement and said, yeah. But that was just one of the instances. They kept on. Bradley was hyperactive but wasn't diagnosed, so he wasn't on medicine, so he kept running off because we were rather poor at the time. We hadn't gotten any benefits yet from the VA, and so didn't have a lot to entertain him, so to make a game, he would run off. And sometimes we were right behind him, other times we weren't. He'd sneak off. But they ended up taking him. They came after a home visit that was forced on me, and they had been there that afternoon and knew my mother was going camping. She had a judge in her camping club. Anyhow, she called the police. They claimed they didn't know anything about it. Called the sheriffs. They claimed they didn't know anything about it. Called back to the police. They finally admitted that, yes, they had him. So she ended up getting guardianship because I didn't want to see Bradley dragged through the system. So I signed over guardianship to my mother. From what I read and see online, that was a very, very wise choice. Bradley's a Marine now. I'm very proud of Bradley. The other connection with the DFS is my stepdaughter, who came from a commune in 1993, I believe. And her and her brother were kind of hard to get along with because I feel at the commune they were brainwashed. Other people don't relate anything bad, I guess, about communes because they see the peace and love, hippie flower children, this kind of thing. I don't. What I saw of it was a work commune. And She didn't know, the stepdaughter didn't know any hygiene. She didn't know how to count money. She didn't know much of anything. End of part 1.